Good morning, Chef Swift and Joe Gormley. This is Daniel Manua, and I'm doing my oral book report on Heads and Beds, and this is by Jacob Thomsky. And yes, it is a New York bestseller. This is an autobiography that tells of the hustles and secrets and tips of the hospitality world. But this book was not intended for like general managers or the big top executives. This is meant for pretty much anybody who's ever been a guest at a hotel, and also for the line level hotel staff, such as front desk agents, valets, bellhops. But the book has him starting in New Orleans, where he's graduated with a philosophy degree, nothing to do with hospitality. Somebody advises him, why don't you go into the hotel business, because that's where the money's at. And so he's like, okay, applies for a valet position at River Hotel, which is brand new in the New Orleans area at the time. And from that point is where he starts his, venture through learning all the behind the scenes stuff that actually goes on that a guest would never think about. So a technique he starts off as the valet is he's gonna have an extra $1 or $2 in his pockets ready, because when guests actually tip him, let's say for example $20, what he's supposed to do is put it in his pocket and take out the $1 or $2 he had already in his pocket, because they share community tip where they would put the 1 or 2 instead of the $20 bill in there. And that's where it's already going crazy. And then the management would receive 40%, while the valet runners would receive 60%. His mentality was, why does someone sitting behind a desk get to receive any tip? He's not the one running around or anything, but yet he still receives a portion of the customer's gratuity. From there, he gets up to like housekeeping management. Some advice that he does give from the housekeeping world is, well, for guests, is to leave a tip. Some guests or housekeepers do believe in revenge, supposedly, which is not a good thing, because when they're cleaning your room, they have access to all your stuff. Another tip he does advise, if you're not going to leave a tip, is to hide your toothbrush, because there's many things that housekeepers can ultimately do with your toothbrush, which won't be a good story. Another thing he does say is he doesn't recommend you clean or you drink anything out of the glass that they provide for you in the hotel rooms, because their housekeeping carts don't actually provide glass cleaner. At least from his experience, it's furniture polish. So if you pour something in there, you might get a little extra flavor of something else. But and then throughout the book too, he moves to New York, where he's offered a front desk position, and from there he tries to make a lot of his experience known, and he's actually getting recognition for his good work. But then it comes down to a boiling point, not because of him, because like management thinks differently, guests think differently. He was giving his best performance that he was trying to customer wise. He would actually hand out like his personal email to some guests because he was helping them around the city. He would do just a lot of on the side stuff for them, and the management said that that wasn't good, and that was an example of poor service, which kind of confused him, because he was having the intention to do something right. And this other boiling point was a guest from Expedia, which he'll never look at the same, is where a guest had high expectations of this room accommodation for them at the New York hotel that he was at, and he sarcastically replied that if you want to wait about 2 months, then we can go ahead and build your room that you so greatly desire. And that got him in trouble and got the manager on him and stuff. But yeah, those are some of the tips and tricks through his journey that Jacob Thomsky does provide us with. Let me see the time. But his inspiration to write this book was actually because of Anthony Bourdain. That was his inspiration to write this book that gives you an insight of the hospitality world. This is what Jacob looks like right there. But he actually did want to write since he was in high school and college. He never had anything published. But after his boiling points in New York, he moved to Paris in Europe so that he could get his mind into the mindset of the writing city. So supposedly a lot of people go to Paris to write their own books, and that's what it's given him this opportunity for him to write his autobiography. And he's still writing books, and that's pretty much it. Like, you guys should read this book. It's very funny. It kind of reminds me of you guys, how you guys kind of have your wits and stuff. But very good book, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to read it for this capstone course, FAB467, section 1, Tuesdays, 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Let's go bowling. Thanks, guys.